Hello, welcome to my sixth video, now about love. Sorry for the longer delay between the videos. I recently started studying and working, and therefore I had a lot less time, but now I'm ready to record, and let's just jump straight into it, right? So today's topic is love, and the first question I would like to answer is what is love? Obviously, I can only answer that for me. So for me, first of all, we have to start with the concept of loving yourself, because it is well known you must love yourself before you can love someone else. So this is majorly important that you are okay with who you are in that moment, and that you deeply love yourself. Only then can appreciate other people as much, because otherwise there will always be a doubt whether the other person can truly love you, because why would they if you don't even love yourself? So the next part of that would be that in a relationship where two people love each other, the sum should always be greater than the two individually. So together, two people should like work together so well that um, they just have a better life than if they were separated. So I hope this makes any sense. What I mean is, I think everyone has their own personal needs, and you basically trade those needs with what you are able um, to give. Like you give the other person, and you receive that your needs are met basically, and this is should not be like a one-way street. This should always be like when you always try to give the other person what they need, they will in turn give what you need, and this is in my opinion, the relationship you should thrive for. And in general, it's all about feeling good, because feeling good is more or less the soul of saying, this is who I am. And I don't mean like feeling good when you've taken some drugs or you're buzzed or whatever, because there's an after effect. Just purely feeling good without negative consequences, without crashes, just pure joy in your heart, basically. That's what I mean with feel good. And if you feel that, then you know you're on the right path. And I must admit I had some problems making this video, because it's not easy. And I feel like that's because society portrays not necessarily love, but also sex, which in my opinion is a big part of love, as something shameful. And even though I want to resist that, somehow it has been more difficult for me to record this video. And as an example to show why society may think that way is when uh, I was in America as a host student, I was watching the movie 300. And some of you may know the movie. It's very brutal. It's about war in Sparta. And there's this one scene about an oracle dancing half naked and predicting the future, you know? And when I was watching this movie, that was the only scene getting censored. The only scene. So you were able to see a guy getting decapitated, and lots of murders, lots of wars, lots of fighting, very bloody and brutal. And that's apparently completely normal for everyone to see. That was running at Sunday at 3 p.m. So like children could have seen that as well if they just zapped through the TV. But at least they didn't see like any naked people, right? But yeah, so that's my point that I was trying to make about society, and kind of explained why this is a little harder for me. But let's actually get to the content, all right? So I'd like to start with a passage from Conversation with God, and this is the most beautiful description of human sexuality that I have heard of. and let me just read it out, right? Maybe as explanation, it's about two people, Tom and Mary, and they basically they've known each other and they want to know each other more deeply, and this is basically getting described now, and it starts with here we go. Tom and Mary will now be said to have the hots for each other. Now the two embrace and they close the gap even further with Tom, Mary, and Tom Mary, that's the union between them, all filling nearly the same space. Tom and Mary can feel Tom Mary between them, and they want to get even closer, to literally melt with Tom Mary, to become Tom Mary in physical form. I have created in the male and female bodies a way to do that. At this moment, Tom and Mary's bodies are ready to do that. Tom's body is now ready to literally enter Mary. Mary's body is ready to literally receive Tom within her. The tingling, the burning, is now beyond intense. It is indescribable. The two physical bodies join. Tom and Mary, and Tom Mary, become one in the flesh. Still, the energies flow between them, urgently, passionately. They heave, they move. They can't get enough of each other, can't get close enough together. They strive to get close, closer. They explode, literally, and their entire physical bodies convulse. The vibration sends ripples to their fingertips. In the explosion of their oneness, they have known the God and the Goddess, the Alpha and the Omega, the All and the Nothing, the essence of life, the experience of that which is. They are physical chemistries as well. The two have become one, and a third entity often is created of the two in physical form. Thus, an outpicturing of Tom Mary is created. Flesh of their flesh, blood of their blood. They have literally created life. Have I not said that ye are gods? So, that's... yeah, I'm not sure if there's much to talk about. And this is obviously just one aspect. And I'd like to get to a second book for a different opinion, which is still somewhat... still plays into that. So in the book Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill has this thing called Transmutation. And first of all, he says that sex is there for three things. The first thing is for the perpetuation of mankind. The second is the maintenance of health. And I think those are kind of self-explanatory. But the third one is a little more tricky. So the third one says the transformation of mediocrity into genius through transmutation. So you may ask yourself, what is transmutation? And I asked myself the same question. And shortly after, a definition follows. Transmutation is the changing or transferring of one element or form of energy into another. And that's probably still doesn't make a lot more sense, but just keep with me a little bit. It all makes sense in the end, I promise. So when the emotions of love begins to mix with the emotions of sex, the result is calmness of purpose, poise, accuracy of judgment, and balance. And when the emotion of romance is added to those of love and sex, the obstruction between the finite mind and the infinite intelligence are removed. Then a genius is born. And this all still sound very weird and mystical to some, and I guess you have to read the whole book to understand it completely, but let me try to explain it. At least in the way that I understood it. So, it basically says that sex energy is immensely powerful and that you can transfer it by like not using it up whenever you can. So if you hold it, like it builds up and you get to use that energy in different parts of your life. For example, a salesperson can use the sex energy as enthusiasm to sell more because enthusiasm sells. And then you might say, hey, if I use my sex energy up, won't like my libido go away? And the thing about sex energy is the more you use it, the more you have it. It's like the brain or just muscles. If you lift more weights, you have more weights later on. You have more muscles later on, and this, at least I feel like this is kind of similar in this way. So I encourage you to not use it up immediately when you're able to, but actually restrain yourself. And if you do want to, at least make it a reward. Because if you use it up when you've failed a test or, I don't know, something bad happened, you trick your mind into saying, hey, this is a good thing. Because dopamine is released and serotonin is released, which are basically the feel-good chemicals in your brain. So whenever you release, in a sense, or masturbate or whatever it is, it conditions you to want to experience, to redo the habit that has led to that. So, for example, you are you have failed a test, you're like home and you feel like frustrated and angry, and then you decide to masturbate. Your brain is confused because in one way you say, hey, this is a bad thing. In another way you say, hey, I'm still rewarding you that. That's like because like the sex thing, the sex urge, it's the very similar to the one of all mammals. So let's take a dog for example. You give a dog a treat when he does something good. And if you go give a dog a treat if he does something bad, he will continue to do the bad thing. And this is kind of what I'm saying, that if you masturbate after having something when you masturbate after having done something badly, you condition yourself in the wrong way, or at least in a way that you will continue doing the bad things. And my approach is just reward yourself with that when you've achieved something. Hey, I've got a good grade. Hey, I've got a promotion. Hey, I've got a big sale at work or whatever. Just see what is worth conditioning, worth rewarding, and then do that with sex, because it's like the easiest way to reward yourself. You don't need to use drugs. You don't need to use any self-defeating whatever. Just use sex in a healthy way. That's basically my message. And just as a last footnote, and I'm not sure how many people will even reach that, but if you have come so far, it will be worth it for you. In the description there is a practice with Tantra, and it's only about sound, and I encourage you to use that and kind of work with that in a way, and you will see the benefits almost immediately. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will probably not post as frequently as before because I'm working and studying at the same time, which is costing a lot of time and energy, but I still try to finish this series up until the end of the year. So stay tuned for that, and if you liked it, give me a like or subscribe or tell it to whoever. I hate doing this, but this is kind of how YouTube forces me to do so in order to grow a community. Right? Enjoy.